So today I am going to discuss with the topic sale and agreement to sale, the distinction between these two and their regarding their legal consequences. So in case of sale and agreement to sale, the first point of distinctions with regarding the headings called transfer of property. So in case of sale, the property in goods passes to the buyer immediately at the time of the making of the contract. So in case of sale, the transfer of property respect to transfer of property. So property transfer, that means ownership, property in goods means ownership in goods passes to the buyer immediately. So it implies immediate conveyance of property. So there is a immediate transfer of property. Immediate it takes place. So that the seller ceases to be the owner of the goods and the buyer becomes the owner. The seller will not be a no more the owner and buyer become a owner of the goods in case of sale. So it creates a jus in rem. So by this immediately while taking place, it creates a jus in rem. That means it gives right to the buyer to enjoy goods as against the whole world. So buyer can enjoy the goods against the whole world. That's called jus in rem. But in respect to the agreement to sale, there is no transfer of property to the buyer immediately taking place at the time of the contract, because the conveyance of property takes place at a later date. That means transfer of property, that means ownership will passes at a later date. Now, second point of distinctions with respect to the risk of loss. Suppose some kind of a goods are of the nature that it may destroy at any time. If it is a perishable nature or is such a kind that it may destroy. So in that context, what is the consequences? So in case of sale, if goods are destroyed, then the loss falls on the buyer. If destroyed, then burden will be on the buyer, even though the goods may never have come in his possession. So goods might not be in his possession. Still, the burden will fall on the buyer because goods has destroyed. And because the property in goods has already passed to the buyer, because it is a sale. And property in goods which ownership has already passed to the buyer. So when ownership is passed, in case of destroy, in case of anything happens to the goods, will be always lies with the burden is lies with the buyer. But in agreement to sale, where the ownership in the goods is yet to pass from the seller to the buyer. So property in goods means ownership in goods has to pass still from the seller to the buyer. So such loss has to be borne by the seller. So in that context, that burden will be on the seller, because even though the goods are in the possession of the buyer might be having only the possession of the goods, but ownership has not been passed to the buyer. It will take at the future date. So in that case, the burden is always lies on the seller. Now, third point of distinctions will be on the consequences of breach. So, in case of sale, regarding the consequences of breach, if the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay the price of the goods, wrongfully, word is used, wrongfully neglects. He neglected. He knows that the price has to pay, but he neglected wrongfully. Or refuses to pay the price of the goods. He don't want to pay the considerations of the goods to the seller. The seller can sue for the price. So he can ask relief from the court for the price, that is the considerations with respect to the goods. Even though the goods are still in his possession. Because the possession of the goods is with the buyer, but still he can ask for the price. But in case of agreement to sale, so if the buyer fails to accept and pay for the goods. He fails to accept means he's neglecting, reluctant to accept the goods. He's not receiving the goods and pay for the goods and not pay the money for the goods also. The seller can only sue for damages. In that context, he can only sue for damages. That means he can ask for compensation and not for the price. He cannot ask relief from the court for the price. That means that is the consideration he never asked. He cannot ask. Even though the goods are in the possession of the buyer. Goods are in the possession of the buyer. Buyer is holding the goods. Still that seller will ask only for the compensation and not for the price. Now we will be, fourth point of distinction we will see in the headings called right of resale. With respect to right of resale, we will see in case of sale, contract of sale, the property is with the buyer. And as such, seller cannot resell the goods. If property is with the buyer, then how you can resell the goods? Can you possible? It's not possible. Because possession you need it to sell the goods. If it does so, the subsequent buyer having knowledge of the previous sale does not acquire a title to the goods. Even though if he is selling the property, right? The second buyer, that is a subsequent buyer, he knows it. There is a previously he has sold it to some other buyer is there. That's why he will not acquire the title to the goods. He will not get the title to the goods. Because title will be always with the original owner, the first buyer who has purchased. That's called right of resale. And the original buyer can sue and recover the goods. So in that context, the original buyer will sue and recover the goods from the third person, because his subsequent sale he has made it from the third person. He can ask for the goods. He can recover the goods as owner, because he is the owner. He is the first buyer, means he is the owner. So he can ask. He can ask the property, he can recover the property from the third person as owner, because he is the owner. And can also sue the seller. He will file a suit against the seller for the breach of contract as well as for tort of conversion. So why he will go for a second sale? Because he's already sold it to the buyer. So in that context, the first buyer will always recover the property from the third person, that is the second buyer, and as well as he can ask for a breach of contract and for a tort of conversion. Tort of conversion means property has already been transferred to a second buyer. That is a conversion he has made it. So right to recover the goods from the third person is lost if the subsequent buyer had bought them bona fide without notice of the previous sale. In these circumstances, right to recover the goods from the third person will be lost. He will losing the right to get the property from the third person. When he will lose, because if subsequent buyer, that is the second buyer who had bought them, second buyer has bought them bona fide. Bona fide means having a good reason, he's believing it without notice of the previous sale. Because he don't know the first buyer, that he has sold it to the first buyer, he doesn't know it, bona fide he is getting. So he's having no notice of that he has sold it to the first buyer. That's why the property he cannot get it from the third person, because subsequent buyer has bona fide purchase he has made it. But in regarding the agreement to sale, in that context the property in the goods remains with the seller. In case of agreement to sell, property is in the goods, so that is ownership in goods remains with the seller, and as such he can dispose of the goods as he like. Because the seller having the goods with him, that means ownership is with the seller. So as such, he can dispose of the goods he likes. This right of resale, he has the right. Because if he wanted to give it to the third person, he can also give it. That is, this dispose of the goods right is with the seller. And the original buyer can sue him for the breach of contract only. So the original buyer who has purchased it from the seller, he can also sue for the breach of contract. Otherwise, he cannot do anything in regard to the resale, because ownership lies with the seller. So definitely he can do what he wanted to do with his property. Now, fifth point of distinctions in regarding the insolvency of buyer before he pays for the goods. So, insolvency of the buyer becomes bankrupt before he pays for the goods. In that case, what will happen? So, in case of a sale, if the buyer adjusts insolvent, so buyer becomes insolvent. Adjust means court declared him as an insolvent before he. This is required. This is important point is there. Adjust insolvent. Simply he is insolvent, bankrupt doesn't be a evidential value. He should be declared from the court of law as an adjust insolvent. Court certificate is required that he becomes a insolvent. That is required. So before he pays for the goods, because if he is bankrupt, then how he will pay for the price? He cannot. The seller, in the absence of a right of lien, so seller doesn't have a right of lien, means he cannot have the right to taking the possession or holding the possession with him, because this is like sale. In case of sale, the seller cannot have this. He must deliver goods to the official receiver or assignee. Because if he is bankrupt, then he cannot pay the money, liability he cannot pay to the seller. So in that case, he cannot have the right of lien. He cannot hold the possession of the property. That will be received by whom? Official assignee. The court officer will be there and court assignee will be there. They will receive the property and seller cannot have. But in regarding agreement to sale, the seller may refuse to deliver the goods to the official assignee unless paid for. So in case of agreement to sale, the ownership never passes from seller to the buyer. So in that context, the seller may refuse to deliver the goods to the official receiver. Seller may not give it to the official receiver unless paid for by the buyer, as ownership has not passed to the buyer. Because ownership has not passed to the buyer, then how can he will give it to the official assignee or the receiver? And the last point of distinction is the insolvency of seller if the buyer has already paid the price. So seller becomes insolvent if the buyer has already paid the price. This is the other way around. Seller becomes insolvent, but buyer has paid the price. So in case of a sale, the seller is adjust insolvent. In case of a contract of sale, if the seller adjust insolvent, means the court has declared him as an insolvent, that is a bankrupt, the buyer is entitled. In that case, the buyer is entitled to recover the goods from the official receiver. Because buyer has already paid the price, so he will ask the goods from the official receiver, because bankruptcy is with the seller, not with the buyer, and he has already paid the price. Why he will not have the goods? Because property in goods has already passed in case of contract of sale, so he can recover the goods from the official assignee or the receiver. But in case of an agreement to sale, if the buyer has already paid the price, agreement to sell, buyer has paid the price and the seller is adjust insolvent, and seller is declared as an insolvent by the court, the buyer can only claim a ratable dividend. So in that case, buyer can ask a ratable dividend and not the goods because the property in goods still rest with the seller. So at this point is that like buyer has paid the price. In case of agreement to sell, buyer has paid the price, and in the meanwhile seller becomes insolvent, and the buyer can that time he can claim a retable dividend and not the goods. He cannot ask for the goods because the property in goods still rest with the seller. As such, agreement to sell property in goods means ownership in goods always passes to the buyer in a future date. So in that context, the buyer cannot ask for the goods. He can only ask for retable dividend. So this is the distinction between the sale and agreement to sell regarding the legal consequences in contract of sale as well as the agreement to sell. So this distinction is very important because simply we cannot say contract of sale means everything is perfect, agreement to sale everything is perfect. No, there is still distinctions in regarding the legal consequences. In this respect, the 6th point is a very important distinctions to be made between contract of sale and as well as agreement to sell.